We're almost through August. I don't recall mentioning prayer. Sometimes you may do, as I do, go on a camping trip or a journey, and there are things that we need for the journey. Well, as Christians, one of the great resources we have for the journey is prayer. And quite often it's simply telling someone else that you're holding them up before God, that they're in your heart, and that you know that they're in God's heart. I dare say there's enough toxic stuff out in the world right now, the systemic things that we see, the global stuff. This is a wonderful antidote. I might suggest that maybe this is our vaccination against the toxicity that comes at us on a daily basis through the news. And quite frankly, I'm struggling. I don't really want to watch the news anymore, but I guess we're drawn to it like a moth to a flame. So there you have it. Pray for each other. Continue to pray for each other. In Matthew's Gospel today, we have an interesting encounter between Jesus and one of his earliest followers, Peter. And Peter makes the astounding observation. He recognizes when Jesus says, "Who do you think I am?" He sees in Jesus God at work, the grace of God at work, the power of God at work, the ability for transformation at work in his person. So he says, "Well, yeah, you're the Son of God." And Jesus said, "Well, when you're armed with that kind of awareness, you will be transformed. You are transformed in the recognition, and I'm going to name you Petrus." I suppose you might make a bit of a joke about that. Peter is now Rocky. Peter is now a wonderful foundation on which our Lord will build a church which is full of hope, full of prayer, full of promise, and prepared to embrace the unknown, confident in God's presence through it all. Blessings for this week.
When I first started to play the harp, which was well over 30 years ago, I had no intention of getting serious about it. I thought I would just get some little Irish harp and I would play Come to Jesus in whole notes for my own entertainment at home. But the bug bit, and here we are. Early on, I was introduced to the American harpist and composer Samuel Milligan, and Sam and I became great friends. I used to stay at his place in New York City when I went to New York for lessons. And one day about 10 years ago, Sam called me up and he said, "Sugarfoot," which he always called me and most of his other friends, "Sugarfoot, in my will, I'm leaving you a harp." I said, "Well, that's really nice." He says, "Yes, and it's in the way, so come and get it." And that's when I discovered that Canadian customs include a special exemption for something called gifts in anticipation of death. Very morbid sounding, but it was very nice. It meant that for the last 10 years, I've had the enjoyment of this beautiful harp, this gold harp, crafted in 1918 by Lyon & Healy of Chicago. A year ago this week, I was in New York City to be with Sam during the final days of his life. And so I thought perhaps today it might be appropriate to remember him by playing one of his compositions on his harp. This is an arrangement of a medieval hymn to the Blessed Virgin entitled Jesus Christ's Mild Mother.
Amen.